To be very honest, when there were investment apps coming out on our smartphones over here in Malaysia, I was super duper excited. There were platforms where you can just put aside some money, let it stay in that particular platform, and it will grow on a month-on-month basis, which is really amazing if you ask me. And honestly, if I'm a beginner in my investment journey, I would definitely put a fair bit of my savings into these apps. That being said, however, these are 3 reasons why I don't use investment apps for my portfolio. The first reason for me is that these apps do not give me attractive returns. When a lot of these apps came into the market, I was probably one of the first few to start investing in these apps. That being said, I noticed that the returns on a good year can fluctuate between 7 to 10%. However, on a bad year, it can also be at a negative region. And I think one of the best ways to illustrate this is over here. Let us assume that there are 2 people, person A and person B. Both person A and person B keeps aside 7 ringgit per day, and they do it for 30 years. That being said, person A invests in an asset that maybe gives about 7% returns, while person B invests in an asset which gives about 14 to 15% per year. In 30 years, based on this compounding calculator, we can see that person A would have about 238,000. That being said, however, when compared to person B, which has returns of about 14%, we can see that the returns from person B portfolio is about 899k, based on both compounding and also having good habits. So even though if we were to look in isolation, that's probably a 7% differential in terms of returns. But if we were to compound it on a daily basis for the next 30 years, this will definitely make a very, very big difference. And if you're asking what assets give about 14%, this would probably be the Nasdaq ETFs. Within the past 10 to 20 years, their returns would be in this particular range. The second reason why I do not use Robo advisory is inflation. For me, back in the day, I still used to remember that maybe 10 or 20 years ago, with 200 ringgit, we could buy bags and bags of groceries. That being said, however, today, with 200 ringgit, we can barely get much. And a personal example, this morning when I went to the mama, I remembered spending about 15 ringgit per person just having breakfast. And if you showed me the 15 ringgit bill maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I would probably stand up and flip the table already. All in all, things are just getting so expensive and we need to choose our investment so carefully. The third reason why I prefer to invest by myself as opposed to using a robo advisory app is that every time we invest, we make a mistake, we learn, we level up. And eventually, once we learn more and more, this is where we're going to get better and better and better returns.